take 3 hours at least to do the roll call.
Good evening, everyone. I hereby call this meeting in order. It is 6:03 p.m. Let's proceed with roll call. We will start on my right.
Jessica Ochoa, present.
Carlos Margo, present.
Alisa Peña, present.
Celso Gomez Jr. present.
Rosalba Hernandez, present.
Valeria Vega, present.
All right. Next on our agenda is the Pledge of Allegiance. If you can please stand up, please rise.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The next item on the agenda is public comment. Each speaker will have 3 minutes to speak. Do we have any individuals registered to speak tonight?
We have none tonight.
All right. Let the record show that Board President Mr. Alvarez is now join us.
Thank you. We do have quorum. We are on. All right, item number five is staff recognitions. If I could have Vice President Alyssa Peña and Valeria Vega, if you could stand in front of the dais for this portion of our presentation.
Right. Good evening, Board President, Board, and Dr. Sorensen. I am honored to stand before you tonight to share some truly exciting news about the academic achievements of our La Jolla ISD students and educators. 4 of our high schools have been named to the prestigious 2025 AP School Honor Roll by the College Board. This recognition is awarded to schools whose advanced placement programs are delivering meaningful results for students while broadening of access to college-level coursework. Let me share the specific achievements of each campus. Jimmy Carter Early College High School has earned gold distinction, an impressive progression from bronze in 2023 to silver in 2024, and now gold in 2025. At Jimmy Carter, 48% of seniors scored a 3 or higher on at least one AP exam, and an outstanding 60% of seniors took 5 or more AP exams. La Jolla High School continues its strong performance with silver distinction, where 33% of seniors scored a 3 or higher, and 27% took 5 or more AP exams. And I'm especially proud to announce that Palmview High School has earned bronze distinction for the very first time. This marks a significant milestone, with 27% of seniors scoring a 3 or higher and 18% taking 5 or more AP exams. In addition, Thelma R. Salinas STEM Early College High School earned gold distinctions, with 45% of seniors scoring a 3 or higher and 44% of seniors taking 5 or more AP exams. These achievements matter because research shows that students who score a 3 or higher on an AP exam typically experience greater academic success in college and are more likely to earn a degree. None of this would be possible without our dedicated administrative team. Tonight, I ask that we recognize the more than 80 advanced placement teachers across our district, as well as the counselors who guide our students toward these rigorous courses. Their collective dedication has made this accomplishment possible. So please join me in congratulating the AP team with us this evening and their principals. Board members, this is what college-going culture looks like. This is what happens when we invest in our students and believe in the potential. Thank you.
Congratulations.
How are you? Fantastic. How are you? Congratulations.
No, you guys are great. Hey, you. How are you doing? There you go, Melinda. No.
I just sat down. I just sat down.
How are you, sir?
One of those days today. Busy.
Yeah, it's really bad. It's getting worse. It's getting really bad now.
Which got better time to expand. Again. It'll be really cool. Yeah.
Okay, I think you have the next agenda item as well, and so that is the recognition of Career and Technical Education, CTE Month, February 2026. It's all yours, Ms. Candelaria.
Good evening again, Board President, board members, superintendent, and distinguished guests. Tonight, we are proud to recognize the Career and Technical Education staff of La Jolla ISD as we celebrate Career and Technical Education Month as proclaimed by Governor of the State of Texas. This proclamation reminds us that CTE prepares the next generation of Texas leaders for high-demand, high-skill careers that strengthen our economy and our communities. Here in La Jolla ISD, that work happens every single day in our classrooms, our labs, shops, kitchens, clinics, and industry-partnered work sites. Our CTE teachers do more than teach courses. They build nurses, entrepreneurs, welders, electricians, culinary professionals, and future business leaders. They guide students towards industry-based certifications, dual credit opportunities, internships, and meaningful career pathways that lead to high-wage, high-growth careers in the Rio Grande Valley. Because of their dedication, our students graduate workforce-ready, college-ready, and life-ready. So I would like to read that proclamation to you. The Texas of tomorrow thrives on our innovation, and the workforce that keeps our economy strong depends upon the Career and Technical Education, CTE, that prepares the next generation of Texas leaders to take on new challenges. These programs prepare young people for high-paying jobs in high-demand fields, and the light investments in CTE will pay dividends for generations to come. Recognizing the value of CTE programs, I made career training an emergency item for the 89th Texas legislation. To help students unlock their full potential, I intend to work with lawmakers to expand the Jobs and Education for Texans JET grant program, enhance dual credit opportunities, support career training in the rural areas, and strengthen career-aligned curriculum. As we celebrate Career and Technical Education Month, let us recognize the students who pursue their calling in the trades, the educators who mold the next generation, and the employers who create rewarding opportunities for them. First Lady Cecilia Abbott joins me in encouraging all Texans to observe Career Technical Education Month with appropriate programs and activities. In testimony whereof, I have here then signed my name and caused for the seal of State of Texas to be affixed as the city of Austin this in the 20th day of January. Governor of Texas, Greg Abbott. So tonight, we proudly recognize and thank our La Jolla ISD CTE team for their commitment, expertise, unwavering belief in the potential of every student. Their work is truly transforming lives and shaping the future of our community. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
CTE in the house.
Hey, girl.
How are you?
How are you doing? Good, good. Good to see you. Likewise. Congratulations. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey there. How are you? Good to see you again. These are new packets.
Oh, let me get one for.
Thank you.
Hey, you.
Nice to see you. Congratulations.
Hello?
I'm not sure if they are.
Go.
I'll ask. Right. How's it going?
Good, how are you?
Good. Traffic is really bad.
And I have to vote in. That's probably what I should be thinking about doing. I don't know how to get here. Because there's like 107, right? That means. Where is that? Congratulations, thank you. How's it going? Nice to see you.
Thank you. Hello, thank you so much.
Good job.
Thank you, sir.
Good job.
Thank you.
They're loving it. Yeah. What is it for? Michael, you're in. He's the one that made it happen. He's the one that's teaching. He's the one now. He's the coordinator of that, actually. So his department of labor is usual.
That's it. Yeah.
Are the auditors here? Because we got the report. Okay, cool.
I would do the tax collection report.
Okay. All right, thank you. Next item on the agenda is our tax report presented by Marjette Crespo. Ms. Crespo? Yes. Are you going to see? Good job. You did a great job.
Okay, good evening.
Good evening, Ms. Crespo.
Mr. Alvarez, Dr. Sorensen, members of the board. Today I'm having a guest, Mr. Jimmy Gonzalez for Lineberger, will present the tax collection report from the office of Lineberger, and they are supporting us with all the tax collections and the delinquent taxes across our region or area of enrollment, and that they really provide us a lot of support on being able to increase our revenue every year. So.
Good evening, President Alvarez, Dr. Sorensen, for the record, Jimmy Gonzalez from Linebarger. Can you hear me?
Yeah, just so let's see if we can get it a little bit louder up there. Thank you.
I can speak closer if you like. Jimmy Gonzalez for Linebarger, the privilege of presenting our semi-annual report, July 2025, December 2025. Before I begin, just like to reiterate that at Linebarger, our principal goal is number one, to make contact with your taxpayers. We understand that when the tax man comes calling, people don't want to answer, don't want to pick up their phones, don't want to answer their doors. So the main thing we try to do is just make contact with your taxpayers, explain any questions they have. Most times we understand we are the first point of contact while your taxpayers from La Jolla ISD. So we try to talk to them with facts, with knowledge, with compassion, to let them know, look, there are payment options, a lot of options we can do to help you out to resolve your tax delinquencies. So saying that, the first things we try to do is, again, just to make contact with your taxpayers. So for this 6-month period, the past 6-month period, we mailed out over 14,000 statements, made over 2,000 phone calls. That resulted in 126 payment agreements. When that doesn't work, you're not answering our calls, not responding to our mail outs, we actually do what's called knock and talk, or we visit their homes. We visit their homes, knock on the door, tell them, contact our office. We put letters in their door to say, contact our office. We want to enter in a payment plan. When that doesn't work, the next step is unfortunate, but it has to happen. We move to litigation. So during this past period, we filed over 113 lawsuits. What that does is that now the lawsuit initiated, your taxpayer has to get served by a constable or by a sheriff. And when that happens, many times we get a call saying, I don't want to go to court. This is serious now. What can I do? Let's enter in a payment plan. And when that happens, there's steps we can do to resolve or postpone their civil case to non-suited, of course, is what's preferable. But again, to move to resolution. We did dispose of 52 lawsuits in that exact manner, totaling over $355,000 during this past 6-month period in this report. When that doesn't work, we move to the last point in the process is enter judgment. We took 21 cases we took judgment on during the past 6 months. So after we take judgment, the next and final step that we can do is sell the property. During the 6-month period in this report, we sold 4 properties. I want to stress to the board that all these properties were not homestead designated accounts. When they're homestead designated accounts, we make every effort to work with the taxpayer. The properties that were sold here were abandoned, vacant commercial properties, rental properties. The goal is not to displace any families, and that's been something the board has told Line Barker very clearly for many years now. We always try to honor that. 1 property was struck off. 2 properties were paid in full before the tax sale. Even before tax sale, even after judgment, we still take payment plans. So through the entire process of working with your taxpayers to resolve this matter before sale. 1 property was struck off. So what does that mean as far as collections? You can see for July 2024 to December 2024, we collected, numbers got cut off there, but we collected $2.186 million. Same period this year, July 2025 to December 2025, we collected $2.628 million. We're very happy that we collected a lot better than last year, again, without displacing families, again, with working compassionately with your taxpayers. And I think as they see that this board is working hard, it makes it a lot easier for us to collect the tax dollars when they know they're going to the right place. So that's made it easier for us. I want to stress to anybody that's viewing tonight and to all your taxpayers, we have 3 payment locations in Hidalgo County. 1 in McAllen, 1 in Mission down the road, and 1 in Edinburgh. They can visit any of those locations to make payment arrangements, talk to someone in person, or can even go to our website, www.ljbs.com, to make a payment. Now, going back to what I said earlier, our main goal is to communicate with your taxpayers. We're also very proud to be the only firm in the Valley to bring together every major player in the tax process, meaning the Hidalgo County Appraisal District, Hidalgo County Tax Office, and Line Barger. We hold workshops for a year, 1 in each precinct. They're free workshops to answer any question your taxpayers have in any level of the whole process. for the coming year. We've already had one in precinct 1 happen in February. Our next one's going to be in April in precinct 4. Precinct 3 is happening on August 12th, 2026, and precinct 2 in November. We pass out flyers. We go to the news media. It's on our website when our locations are finally determined. But again, I encourage anybody to come to those and ask any question they have. That concludes my presentation. Are there any questions? I went through it quickly, but I wanted to see if anybody had any questions, and I'll be happy to answer them.
Thank you. Members of the board, do you have any questions for anyone from? All right. Thank you very much. Great presentation. Thank you very much.
Have a good evening, everyone.
You too, my friend.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
All right.
Let's
All right. Next item on the agenda is 6.3, transportation update by Mr. S.B. Pearson. Mr. Pearson.
Good afternoon, Mr. President, Madam Superintendent, fellow members of the board. I'd like to ask Mr. Alanis and Mr. Flores to join me at the podium for this presentation tonight. We got a fairly lengthy presentation tonight, and so with respect to this being about the business of adults, we're going to try to get through this as quickly as we can to respect our decorum for the board meeting. As you guys are aware, we've undergone some serious overhaul efforts in the transportation department, and we wanted to update you tonight on what the update of the overhaul as well as the implementations of the audit. Just like in everything else we do, we like to tie our information back to the district strategic priority and the mission and vision of the district. Specifically, as we address the strategic priority, the goal of the direct priority that we identify ourselves with is priority number 5, which is operational excellence and financial stability. Just a reminder of some of the things that we've had and talked to you guys about before. Back in September, we started our internal audit, our internal investigation of the things that were causing issues or pain points in our organization. In October, November, we brought in an external third party TransFinder to come in and do an external audit within our department. In November, we came to you guys and shared with you those findings of the audit. And in December, we talked to you guys about a plan moving forward. In February, first meeting of this month, we want to thank you guys. You guys approved the purchase of the new software and hardware for us to begin to eliminate some of our problems and try to help get our department going in the right direction. So thank you guys for that. With that, it's our intention to take tonight, as we do our presentation tonight, and then front load information or start our communication campaign and get information out to our community to kind of keep them informed on what our intentions are, what our plans are to improving our transportation services. That will take place from this month of February through the month of May. Trainings will start extensively in May for us to launch with our full intent for the month of August 2026, the new school year. Some of the things that were identified in the internal audit review, just things that were very evident in our system, that our kids were getting to school late, that there are persistent driver shortages, which also aided in some of the issues we were having with our kids getting to school late. The age of our fleet needs to be addressed in a serious fashion. Lack of optimization or data truth, our source of truth, which is our data. We had a lack of that very present, which means that we're doing things the old-fashioned way with paper and pen and by hand. Enrollment patterns versus feeder patterns. As you guys are acutely aware, over the last 10 years, we've lost students in our district. And as we've called out before, there's been no major changes to our routing and services within the transportation department to mirror what's happening with our student decline. And so we should have been making some adjustments to that as well. And that causes some of our hardships and inefficiencies. With that, we have very outdated maps and outdated softwares. There's no current geocoding. There's no current technology that supports us with that, which in turn left our team, I'll say, stranded with having to do a lot of these things by hand. Routes, we called out in the previous presentation that our routes have not been adjusted or modified from a systematic standpoint in over 20 years, and that has caused some super inefficiencies in our division that is definitely needed to address. There are some unfunded obligations that we've addressed or we've taken on over the previous years. And you're going to hear me talk more about those unfunded obligations. We like to call some of those ride shares. And then obviously there's no formal capital replacement schedule. With that, the external auditors came in and they basically supported the information that we pretty much already knew, and they even identified some things that we did not know. Some of the things that they've identified, they put them in 7 buckets for us. And those 7 buckets are identified as these categories: in administration and operation. In short, we had a lack of institutional controls. There's things that our leadership need to do better to make sure that our drivers are understanding and following and adjusting human behaviors so that we're providing better services for our students. Training. There was no apparent no evidence of trainings or retrainings happening within the division. That keeps us in line with best practice, state compliance, and those type of things. There was no evidence of that in our organization. Routing and scheduling, we just talked about that. Our routing and scheduling are antiquated practices that we need to get better at. And we need to make sure that we have a system in place to review these practices year over year. Our fleet maintenance, there's been no consistent fleet investment or capital investment as it relates to our fleet. And so these are things that the audit confirmed as well as the things that we already knew. Our fleet data, our source of truth. Our fleet data is not existent. There's no preventative maintenance schedules. There's no software system that we've used to address preventative maintenance. Basically, our maintenance technicians have been doing things in a reactive approach. This is very inefficient and very cost effective. Our facilities are outdated and antiquated. We haven't made any major investments into our facilities. Bus washers are not working. The things that our mechanics need in our mechanic shop are not working. And so those things are causing greater inefficiencies for our organization that we need to address. And then there's general safety, just our way of practice, making sure that our drivers are doing the best practice approach when it comes to picking up our kids, both in schools as well as in our communities. Why we have to change our practices? Well, other than the obvious, we need to change our practice so that we can become current with the best states of what's happening in transportation across the state. Things that we're doing today, and I want to call this out and be very clear about what we're doing. A lot of the things that we've implemented or that we're doing today is a direct reaction or a direct response to the waste, fraud, corruption, and abuse that has been, obviously our district has been plagued with over the years. And so some of these things that have caused inefficiencies and operational, I should say inefficiencies again, they've become a part of our system, and we need to address those because they're driving the cost of our operation. These unfunded practices, like our ride shares, and you'll hear me talk more about those. Those rides, I'm sorry, let me back up. Some of those operational inefficiencies that were created doing the waste, fraud, corruption, abuse is things like our door-to-door pickup services. I can't, and I have not been able to pinpoint exactly when this started, but from everything that I'm told from my team, that this started around that same time where it was evident of the waste, fraud, corruption, and abuse. And so we'll leave it at that. The unfunded extracurricular and co-curricular ride shares. This is where we actually take our kids home after events, whether it be extracurricular events or late UIL events like band, those type of things. Our drivers are usually getting off the road at 1 and 2 o'clock in the morning. Obviously, this is our overtime cost. It comes at overtime cost for us that is unfunded, as well as a fuel cost and wear and tear on our buses. And so, not that we don't want to support our kids. I want to make sure that we're clear about this. It is definitely our intent for our kids to enjoy the full school experience, but we have to do things in a practice that is more current and up to date with what's happening, best practice across the state of Texas. Another one of those rideshare pain points that we're also experiencing is our staff shuttles. We actually have a system right now that we shuttle staff members' children across the district, regardless of where those kids go to school. And so we've got to become more systematic about the approach of how we address that. Then it's our flexible routing. This is another direct response to the waste, fraud, corruption, and abuse. A lot of our routes, and you'll see in a future slide, you'll see where a lot of our routes are not ran inefficiently, and it's because number one, we didn't have the appropriate routing software to be able to make the modernizations and adjustments year over year as we should. But other parts of it is directly tied to, I'll just call it out, particular trustees or board members at that time having preferences on what buses their kids ride or things like that we had to accommodate. And so those things were never adjusted or corrected. And so we're dealing with some of those pain points today. And then there's last minute bus requests. These are basically institutional controls that we can fix within ourselves. As we discussed, this slide is designed to show you two things. Number one, it's designed to show you how inefficient our current system is. This is a snapshot of our Palmview High School community, a particular riding community in the Palmview High School community. This is a 5-mile radius. And inside of that 5-mile radius, we currently have 7 buses operating within that 5-mile radius. Those 7 buses, the maximum capacity is 539 students. Currently in that radius, we have about 120 students riding the bus. We do offer door-to-door service. So you'll say, well, why is that important today? It's important in this snapshot to show you that our routes have never been adjusted to only account for those kids that we're picking up. And we're still showing that we need to pick up kids that are no longer existing or riding our buses. So our optimization needs to take place. The other thing that this slide is showing very acutely is that over the years, as our student enrollment has declined, our routes and stops should also decline. It should mirror what's happening with our student population. And that has not been our practice in transportation, which has caused some inefficiencies for us. So just calling out some of those things that we're well out of bounds with. And I apologize, my throat's getting weak. I've been sick most of the week. So I'm gonna keep bearing through this, but if you need me to repeat anything, please don't hesitate, I will. Some of those things that we're clearly out of bounds with. Right now, the state of Texas does not fund any pickups that take place from the front door of the school to a 2-mile radius away from that school. Current La Jolla ISD current practice is we pick up every student door to door, every grade level, every grade band. That's our practices. So that 2-mile radius is locally funded. It is funded out of our 199. That is putting a hardship on our fund balance. Another practice that we're way out of bounds on. The state average is about 0.3 miles per walk to stop ratio for elementary kids. It's about 0.6 miles walk to stop ratio for secondary kids. Right now, our kids experience 0 walk to stop ratio because we do door-to-door pickups. An average of what we should be doing is about 3.3 or 0.5 for our secondary kids. The ride shares, the next two that we're going to point out is our ride shares that we pointed out several times. Our extracurricular and co-curricular, the co-curricular is actually funded. The extracurricular, but including the UIL activities as well, those are not funded post the activity. For La Jolla ISD, as we stated before, we take all of those kids home after those events. Staff shuttles, these are also unfunded services that we are currently providing for our students and our staff. And then the cross-zone routes. This is more of an internal control situation. CTE does fund our routing, but because of lack of routing software, the way we're doing it right now is inefficient and it's costing us money, and we have to make corrections to that in order to be able to get more efficient with that operation. Here's a snapshot of some of the costs that we incur. The graph is to the left. What I want to call out is, and this was taken from the Alvarez and Marsal audit report from Ms. Mergette and her team. This calls out that in the region, La Jolla ISD at $458 per student. Per capita, we have the largest expense per pupil riding our bus. That number is taken from the total transportation budget divided by the ridership, which gives us that number. So at $458 per student, we are the largest in the region. Another thing that I want to call out on that graph is if you'll see that our district's total square mileage is only 226 square miles. Edinburgh, who comes in right behind us at $453 per student, they have 3 times the square mileage ratio that for their district than we have. And so that shows you some of the inefficiencies that we're operating in. Seems like our slide hadn't been adjusted. I want to apologize for that. So as you look to the right, that number had been corrected and obviously didn't make it to this deck. But year to date, we are at $601 spent in fuel costs, and we're on pace to spend $1 million before the year is out. Our maintenance cost is at $703,000 year to date. Because of our lack of ASC certified mechanics in the maintenance part of our transportation shop, we're having to outsource all of our buses. That creates a hardship on the amount of time that our buses are spent down. That cost is creeping up to $1 million really quick. Our overtime costs, this is a huge one. If you look at district-wide, the amount of overtime costs, transportation is sitting at about 80% or 90% of that cost at $573,000 year to date. I do want to call out that each one of our drivers currently is assigned to a route. We do not have additional drivers. We don't have pool drivers or sub drivers. So all extracurricular events are driven by our route drivers, which everything they do extracurricular, it's automatically overtime for those drivers if they've been at work every day for that pay period. So that does put a strain on that overtime cost. So what have we done so far? So far, we've made some immediate improvements to those recommendations that have come out in the audit. As we told you in our December presentation, those things that directly affect adult behavior and safety, we have addressed those things right away. And so some of those things to call out just from operational standpoint is we've made sure that, obviously any driver that we hire, they have to be CDL drivers, which means that not only can they drive our buses, they can also drive our Class A buses and our mini Class A's. Some of our routing and scheduling, we've already, as we said, we've already started this process. Thank you guys on the 11th for taking care of that for us. We are in the process now of getting that implemented and the integrity of our data being transferred so that we can get those routes built so that we're ready to launch that in a very timely fashion to be ready for August. And our facilities. One of these things in our facilities is definitely a human behavior or human capital management thing. One of the things that the auditor has called out is that there's a separation between our administration and our staff, and that our staff don't feel like they're connected as one with the administration. So we immediately implemented an open door policy where our directors and leaders in the transportation department have to be out and about amongst during the transition times for our drivers, presenting themselves available and ready for service to those drivers. The other thing that we've done as a part of that purchase at the previous board meeting is we've purchased 7 tools that are going to help us. 5 of those tools are inward tools, or tools that help us with institutional controls. 2 of those tools are forward-facing tools that are going to definitely help us with our community. These tools are designed to present a stronger safety system, to connect our buses to our silent panic alert technology, which is the exact system that we're having in our campuses. Is to make sure that these systems communicate with each other in the event of a lockdown. Our buses can be notified to divert their routes to be able to take our kids to a safe place and not be put into harm's way. There's two-way communication also tied to that, those devices, the hardware devices that are on those buses. This also improves our routing efficiency and reliability. It gives our drivers turn-by-turn GPS real-time navigation. Those navigation tools are also real time with our software that's being operated in our transportation leadership, so that if we need to adjust a route, we can adjust that route real time, and those changes can be made within a 24-hour period. And then there's better visibility and tracking. So our parents can see where their kids are. They can know where their kids are when they load the bus, while the bus is en route, and what time they got off the bus when those buses park or take their kids home. Excuse me. So the 2 tools that I talked about that are forward-facing, that's for our community. Number 1 is the web-based tool, that's Info Finder. This one is very critical to our superintendent. She wanted to make sure that on our district webpage, that our parents have an opportunity to go to our webpage, click a link on our webpage, and that link will give parents real-time information when they type in their address and their student ID number. It'll tell them what school their kids go to, what bus they're supposed to be riding on, what time their bus is gonna get to that bus stop, or where the bus stop is located. It's a very transparent device. This device does come in 2 languages, or as many languages as we need. And so we're excited about introducing and rolling that out to our parents. The other device, the other tool that we purchased, that's a forward-facing tool that helps our parents, is Stop Finder. Stop Finder is a real-time application that goes on their phone. It's a mobile app. This phone allows them to track their kids from the point that they get on the bus all the way until the point that they exit the bus. Now, I do want to be transparent about this. The Stop Finder piece of this is going to take a little bit more to roll out than the August implementation deadline that we have. The reason for that is because this is directly tied to student ID badges. Our point of sales are scan on, scan off devices for those, scan on, scan off cards for those entryway to the bus. That has to be adjusted in our student code of conduct. It has to be adjusted on our dress code. So that's going to take a little bit more of a runway for us to get implemented. But as far as the hardware is concerned, come August, we will be ready to do that, to roll that out, which will require some sort of a manual punch on day 1. But we will be ready to have that tracking device in place. Where do we need to go to have a premier transportation system? Well, we've kind of called some of those things out. The first thing we need to do is we need to improve our technology. Our technology, for anybody that's spent any time in operations, you know that the number one way you improve operational efficiency is one of two ways, either through manpower or through technology. Technology is a more sustainable system, and so that's the route that we chose to go. So with that, we've purchased those 7 tools. 5 of those are internal, 2 of those are forward-facing. Those will help us with operational efficiency, institutional control, safety, training. Training implementations are underway. Some of those internal trainings have already taken place. If our drivers have an accident, they are being pulled from routes to be able to go through an internal training process right now that's being led by our leadership team. But in the future, we'd like to have a dedicated trainer to be able to train our drivers on all compliance issues, safety issues, and best practices. Routing and scheduling. Again, this is underway. These are with the softwares that were just purchased. Right now, we're building those softwares out to be ready to have a soft rollout here in the spring. We want to pilot it with our summer school to be ready for a hard rollout come August. Fleet maintenance. We have done both two things. We've created our internal capital investment or capital replacement schedules that we've looked at internally. We also have a software that we've purchased to help us with this and making sure that we keep up and track that. Those softwares also help us with preventative maintenance scheduling. It helps us understand when it's time to change oils, rotate tires, check brakes, do things like that help keeps our buses on the road and keep those buses safe. Facility implementation. This one is probably going to take a little bit longer time to implement because this one is going to require some capital investment that our local budget may not be able to support at this time. And then general safety. Obviously, our loading and unloading practices have to be looked at and reviewed regularly to make sure that we're following best practices and taking care of our kids. This next slide by no means requires any action or is putting you guys on the hook to make any decisions today. What we wanted to do with this slide is to give you an example of what a capital replacement schedule should look like. We've taken the liberty of putting together a mock capital replacement schedule that's on a biennial presentation portion of this, where it shows you what it would look like to purchase 18 buses per year every other year for a 10-year period and what that capital replacement would look like. We also did the same thing with our white fleet. I do want to call out that we do have a aggressive there's a more aggressive capital replacement schedule for the police fleet than it is for our regular service vehicles, and that's for the obvious. We want to make sure that our police officers are able and they're confident in the vehicles that they're driving so that they can respond to emergencies in a timely fashion without any hesitation. So that's the intent of this slide right here. So the next steps. The next steps are we've been intentional about our community touch points. We've been intentional about our communication campaign. And so obviously in the month of February, it's been inundated with purchasing and procurement of the softwares and making sure that we have all the tools and resources we need to be ready for our rollout come August. The month of March is going to be saturated with touch points, both internal and external touch points. That's internal touch points with our principals and our internal stakeholders, and then we'll actually start our external touch points with community in different fashions of that. Those touch points run through April, where we also have additional touch points of either a communication campaign through mail outs or social media launch campaigns, all the way to town hall meetings that are planned and scheduled within our department to host at our 3 comprehensive high schools, where we intend to invite our vertical parents to come in and hear real time what's happening with our overhaul, give them some perspective of what we intend to do, hear their feedback and their concerns, give us some time to make some adjustments if needed before we come back to them later in the spring around May. Obviously, in May, or late April, early May, we intend to come back to the board to share with you guys what our intentions are as it relates to the final product of what we're proposing to roll out to our community. June and July will be spent with training our internal teams, our drivers, making sure that our mechanics and everybody have what they need, making sure that staffing is appropriate so that we'll be ready for a August rollout with this. From a more granular perspective, this gives you a little bit tighter view of what those touch points are about. With that said, I do want to bring this presentation to a close by stating this. Number one, I appreciate you as your Chief Operations Officer for entrusting me to lead my team to do this heavy lift. I do want to share with you guys that this is indeed a heavy lift. So I thank you for that, entrusting me to do that. But I also want to apologize to you guys in advance because there's some pain points and growing pains that are going to come from this. And so we want you to know and be assured that we're going to do our due diligence to make sure that we do everything that we can within our power to make this as seamless as possible for our parents. And obviously, we don't want to affect our students in any negative fashion, but we have to do what's best for the district to make sure that we're providing a sustainable, reliable system as we move forward into the future. And so with that said, I'll pause and me and my team will answer whatever questions you guys may have.
Members of the board, do you have any questions for SB?
I do.
Yes, Ms. Bain.
Mr. Pearson, you mentioned that it had been 20 years since the last time that the routes had been optimized. What is typically the industry standard for reviewing and auditing those routes?
Thank you for asking that question. Ideally, industry standards in the larger districts that can obviously afford it, they do it year over year because communities change every year. I would recommend no more than every 2 years, every 3 years at the absolute worst. But once our leadership team is trained and coached up on how to use the system, we will be able to make some modifications ourselves. But about every 3 years, we'll need to look at, no more than every 3 years, we need to look at this from a larger perspective, bringing in some additional assistance to take a look at this.
Got it. And then from a door-to-door experience that our students currently have, what other districts, either in the region or in Texas, are currently also following by this practice?
Thank you so much for asking that question as well. I am a member of the Texas Association of School Business Officials. I've been a chief operations officer in 4 school districts, ranging from rural school district to a large urban school district. And I can assure you, across the state, I don't know of a single district that is doing this. I've checked the region, our regional partners, myself and Mr. Alanis have called our regional partners, and the consistent response has been, please don't kick that can for us. So I haven't found a district that does that. Can I say without a shadow of a doubt that it's not happening? No, I can't. I can just tell you, in my network that is fairly large across the state and in the region, I have not seen that practice.
Thank you.
Any other members of the board?
I have several questions.
Yes, Dr. Hernandez.
So that was one of the questions I had. And then regarding after school, ride share pretty much is, I want to say that's where you're also basing your information from.
I'm sorry.
Like you asked, the question she asked about the door-to-door pickup, the ride share for after-school programs, either band, football, things like that. You mentioned it was majority of the districts that didn't provide that. I'm guessing this is where you get your information from as well, what you just mentioned?
Absolutely. I want to make sure I clarify one point on that. Anything that's co-curricular, that's supported by co-curricular, that is funded by the state of Texas. So tutorials, 21st century, all of our after-school co-curricular programs, we can't take those kids home. It's those extracurricular activities that happen after hours, like after a ball game, after a UIL performance, taking those kids home in the late evenings, those are not funded activities. And yes, ma'am, we haven't found anybody that does that to my knowledge.
Thank you. And then if we go back to the map you showed us, you mentioned, well, you had a number of 539 students, and then did I hear you say correct that only about 100 and some of them ride the bus?
Yes, ma'am. So the 539 reference is if we have 7 buses that are 77 passenger buses, the maximum capacity of those buses is 77 passengers. So if you do 7 times the 5, if you do 7 times the 77, that's where the 539 students come from. That's the maximal riding capacity.
So that's the capacity. And
Yes,
right
ma'am.
now, only 100 and some students are riding the bus?
Roughly 130, 140 students or so in that zone, in that 5-mile radius.
Wow.
Thank you. And then what are the smaller dots? I see that, like, let's say the yellow dots, they're numbered 1 through 12, but what are the smaller dots?
So each dot represents a bus. And so there shouldn't be any distinguishment between a bigger or a smaller dot. The colors is what distinguish the dot. And so the purpose of that is to show you how some of our routes are bleeding into other routes because they're not optimized or not efficient.
Okay. So the smaller dots don't necessarily mean that they're another bus stop?
No, ma'am.
Okay.
Yeah, those are just bus stops within themselves. But the dots itself, it represents a bus stop. There's no distinguishment between that.
Okay. Last, Well, you mentioned, when was it? A few slides back from the end, there was mention of staff children. Can you explain what that is?
Yes, ma'am. So right now, and I'm assuming that this was, I don't know when it started. It'd be irresponsible of me to say why it started, but from my professional experience and what I know in the past, because we've offered it before in my other experiences. What happens with this is when you're in a district with that there's issues with compensation for staff where they're underpaid. Some of those trade-offs are we offer you those shuttles to where you don't physically have to drive your kid to school. You can come to work, put your kid on the bus at work, and we'll shuttle those kids to their respective schools. I assume that's why it started here. I don't have that hard information exact, but I can share with you that practice is mostly in smaller school districts. Larger school districts don't necessarily follow that practice. And if they do, they follow it with very strict parameters, making sure that the shuttle exercise take place only within the zone of that particular bus, not sending buses outside of their zones.
Thank you. From your last slide, I'm thinking we're going to make a vote on this on early May.
I'm sorry, I didn't understand or hear your question.
Are we going to vote on this early May?
No, it's working. It's a working document. You'll be reporting back to us April and May, right?
Yes, we'll be reporting back either late April or early May when we get the final product of what those route information will look like.
And I just wanted to clarify, if I can, Board President.
Yes.
That this doesn't require a vote. This is an operational item, and the superintendent will be making a recommendation to the board about the proposed changes for 26, 27, but this is an operational item. I do want to also point out, though, and I'm really grateful, the team is actually going to go out and engage with the community in the exact way that we always have and get feedback on the presentation, on proposed changes, and then bring back the final recommendations to you based upon feedback from our parents, from our families, from our principals, who actually do manage this, boots on the ground. And so then we will bring back a final recommendation. So if you go back to the slides, you see it says recommended. These aren't changes that are happening today. We have not finalized what the recommendations are. Because we really do want to hear from the community, the parents, families, and obviously our athletics community, our UIL community, so on, fine arts, so on and so forth. And then we will bring back a final recommendation.
Thank you, Dr. Sorensen. I was going to ask that question. SB, I have a question. And it's probably not even related to anything we discussed. I mean, you mentioned the training and the staff that we currently have. How is do we have a staff shortage on bus drivers? And if not, I commend you for not having one.
So technically, we do not have a staff
That's awesome.
shortage. I believe we have, two routes open? We may have 3 routes open currently. So by the letter of staff shortage, no, we do not have a
That's
staff
awesome.
shortage. What we do have is a lack of extra drivers to be able to cover some of these extracurriculars. But our routes are all covered -3.
That's awesome. Great. Thank you. Yes, Mr. Chua.
Can you describe how these satellite pickup areas would look like?
Say that again, I'm sorry.
These satellite pickup areas, since we're used to door to door, if we transition to a satellite pickup area, what does that look like?
Thank you for asking that question. So the definition and identification of satellite pickups, they're underway and being designed now. And so what happens is our Transfinder partners, our transportation leaders, they're looking at each student pickup. They're designing a point to whatever the record. I don't want to give a number out in a public forum just yet, but they're going to give us a recommendation on where these stops should be located so that every kid has an equal or equitable walk to stop ratio determined or identified by the administration on what we're recommending for elementary, what we're recommending for secondary. There will be a stop identified in their neighborhood or their community. That's a safe walk or safe location, whether it be a park stop or a corner that's not used or a cul-de-sac or something like that. I can't identify exactly what those stops are, but I can share with you that's what the common practice is. Once they create that model, what happens next is that our drivers and our team, they actually go out and look at these stops to make sure that they're feasible. We come back and do our work. We present it to our parents, kind of tell them what our ideas and thoughts are on what these stops look like. They give us feedback on if they think the stop is unsafe or if there's dogs there, or if there's sexual predators that live in the area that we may not be aware of. We come back and make adjustments to those stops, and then we make our final recommendation. But right now, there is no identified or set target on the 0.25 or 0.3 or whatever that number is. That will truly be determined by the routes once they're built and the recommended walk to stop ratio. We'll make adjustments from that.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
SB, I mean, you did an excellent job on the presentation. It was very informative, and so I appreciate it. There was a lot of detail explained during that you shared with us during your remarks. So I wanted to thank you for that. Every time I thought about something, you answered it. So I was thinking about the same thing about the stops and all that. So thank you and your team for all the work that you've put in. We look forward to the report in April and May.
Thank you so much.
Dr. Sorensen, do you have anything else you'd like to add? I mean, I know he's putting in a lot of work.
Absolutely, and thank you, Chief Pearson and your team for doing this work. I want to lift up something though that Board Member Ochoa talked about, which is safety, right? Because ultimately, if you're talking about satellite sites, we want to make sure that safety is at the top of our priority list. And so we will also be working in collaboration with the Chief of Police, our local law enforcement, to make sure that not only our route within parameters, whatever those parameters are, based upon conversations and mapping things out and what that looks like, but also do we have the sanction, like the okay from our legal, our law department, our law enforcers back there, to make sure that, like, yes, we actually agree. We think that this is a safe space for students. We actually have clearance on this area. Or no, the traffic patterns in this area are actually not safe. What we know is, right, that there's X amount of traffic patterns through here, or there's been accidents in this area. And so we're gonna partner with Chief and the rest of the police department to make sure that safety is our #1 priority for all of our students, because our parents want that first. They wanna make sure that their children are safe and that they are arriving to school on time.
Thank you, Dr. Sorensen. Our next item on the agenda is 6.4, 2026-2027 enrollment and transfer process update. Dr. Sorensen?
So I would ask the board if we could table this item for this evening and we could bring this to a subsequent meeting. Is that okay, board?
Any members, anything you'd like to discuss? I think we're all in agreement. We can go ahead and table it for further meeting, or future meeting, I should say. Next item on the agenda, thank you, Dr. Sorensen. Next item on the agenda is Superintendent's Update, 6.1 Budget and Auditor's Report. And I think, Bridget, you have this one as well?
Yes, I am. How are, good evening, President Alvarez and Dr. Sorensen and members of the board and public. I'm honored today, and I will bring forward Ms. Esmeralda Iñiguez and Carla Gomez from Carr, Riggs, and Ingram. They will present the audit report for the 24-25 school year. And they have been an amazing partner. They are our external auditors as required by the state. We have to do every year. So they are presenting to you the report.
Welcome.
Thank you for the introduction, Ms. Crespo. Good evening, members of the board, superintendent and district staff and public. I'm Esmeralda Iñiguez. I'm a partner with Carr, Riggs, and Ingram, and with me is Carla Gomez. She's a senior manager with our firm as well. And we have concluded the audit for the district's June 30, 2025 year end. So we're here to present the results of our audit and answer any questions you may have. So I want to start off by explaining that with this, the conclusion of this audit, the district is complying with their requirement to have an annual audit of their financial statements. In addition to providing basic audited financials, the district does go beyond that and provides historical data and statistical data that qualifies them for the Government Finance Officers Association Certificate of Achievement for Excellence in Financial Reporting. They did receive that certificate, that recognition for their June 30, 2024, so that is included in the report. And this year, they have also put together the report in the same manner, presented the information required. So we're confident that they will qualify for the report as well for their June 30, 2025. So we concluded our audit February 20, 2025, and we are rendering an unmodified opinion on the financial statements. We did audit the government-wide activities, the major fund, which is the general fund, and the aggregate remaining funds. What the unmodified opinion represents, it's the best type of opinion available in our profession. And what that represents is that the financial statements are fairly stated and they're in compliance with accounting principles generally accepted in the United States of America. This year, the district did have to implement a new pronouncement, GASB 101, for compensated absences. So as a result of that, they had to do an adjustment to their beginning net position in the amount of $7 million. This is due to the estimates that had previously been done for compensated absences. The rules changed, so now they have to consider other factors that increase this liability for the district. However, it is a long-term liability, so it does not have an impact in the district's general fund and general operating resources. And we do have a pretty almost 200-page report, so we will walk you over the highlights of the financial statements, and of course, we can address any questions towards the end.
So I'm going to start with the statement of net position on the governmental activities. Here you can see it's the statement that includes the capital assets, the long-term debt, including bonds, notes. It also includes the balances related to pension, TRS, and OPEB, and compensated absence. So this is, again, this is not the statement on your day-to-day operation, this is the government-wide. So in this statement, we have here this little table where you can compare to last year. You can see that as of the end of the year 2025, total asset ended up to be $607 million. The fair outflow of resources were $67.8 million. Total liabilities was $417 million. The fair inflows were $115 million, and total net position at the end of the year were $141.9 million. If you look with comparison with the prior year, the biggest change in there was in the fair outflow of resources, and that was mainly related to TRS pension and OPEB pension. So those are the main variances that you see in that statement. This next one now is the day-to-day operations, what you call the general fund. This one, we put together the budgetary comparison, so you can see more or less what was the budget versus the actual. The first column, you can see in there revenues. So the total budget for the revenues in the year were $279.6 million, compared to the actual, that you actually got a little bit more, $302.2 million. In relation to expenses, transfer, and extraordinary items, the total budget by the district was $294.3 million. At the end of the year, the end result was a total expenditures of $287.3. So it was under what you were expecting. The last column is the net change. So at the beginning, the budget, when you were doing the budget, you were expecting to have a loss or a negative change in fund balance of $14.7 million. But the reality at the end, the actual ended up to having a gain or a positive change in fund balance of $14.8 million.
You like that one?
I like it.
This one.
We can end the report there. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Go ahead. You may proceed. I'm sorry.
During the preparation of the audit, we also had to look at some compliance requirements that the district has to follow. And this is in relation to the budget compliance. There was a finding that we had to give in this audit just because
well, first of all, we call it significant deficiency over the excess of expenditures over appropriations. So you can see, maybe it's a little bit small, but on the numbers columns, on the third one, that's the actual. If you compare that one to the one before, which is the final budget, the amended, there were few functions, by functions, that you were a little bit over the appropriation. But as I mentioned on the previous slide, in total, I mean, you were budgeting way more and you ended up like completely down. So some of the reasons we explain in here, some of the reasons why there were some excess expenditures over appropriations in some of the functions. And so that's basically what it says in here. This is presented on the audit report on page 182, and the district we have been discussed with them in detail, and they have provided us with the corrective action. I mean, what they're gonna plan to do for next year, and they're gonna take the corrective action. This next one is, again, general fund, but now talking about the balance sheet, including assets, liabilities, total fund balance. So you can see here as of the end of the fiscal year 2025, total assets were 183.4 million. Total liabilities and deferred inflows of resources total 37 million. And total fund balance at the end of the year ended up to be 146.3 million. Out of that total fund balance, the district has some money restricted as required by your programs, by your different programs. But out of that, you ended up with an unassigned fund balance of 121.5 million. Normally, these districts like to hear that if they will be fine to cover for how many months of expenditures. And the good thing is that the district will be able to probably cover more than 4 months of expenditures with this fund balance that you have. So you see, compared to last year, it went up, the unassigned fund balance, it went up from 1.9 million to 121 million. So it was a huge possibility. Thank you, Carla. And then in addition to the financial statement audit, we also conducted an audit over the federal awards. So for June 30, 2025, the district received a total of 65.6 million in federal grants. Out of all the grants, we are required to select major programs for testing. So this year we selected Title I, which represented 15.5 million, and supporting effective instruction state grants, which represented 1.7 million. Our opinions on that part of the report or that part of the audit are also unmodified. We do issue a report on internal control over financial reporting and on compliance and other matters based on an audit of financial statements performed in accordance with government auditing standards. So as mentioned, we're rendering an unmodified opinion, which is the best type of opinion available. There were no material weaknesses. There was only the one significant deficiency that we just discussed related to budget, and no non-compliance material to the financial statements. The other report is on compliance for each major program and on internal control over compliance required by the uniform guidance. For this type of audit, we audit the requirements that could have a direct and material effect on each of the major federal programs, and our opinion on this report is also unmodified. So this is, we took a page out of the book on page 179. That's where you find the summary of the results, the opinions that we're rendering, and as well as the findings that are reportable, as just discussed. So for the federal awards, we noted no material weaknesses, no significant deficiencies, and no non-compliance that is required to be reported. So in addition to the opinions that are included in the district's report, we also are providing another packet called required communications. You should have all received a copy. This is for internal uses for the Board of Managers and district staff, district management. And in there, I went too far. You will find the auditor's responsibilities outlined, management's responsibilities. You'll find a section that includes judgments and sensitive estimates. We do look at those estimates and compare with standards. We didn't find any inconsistencies. In there, you'll also find the summary of audit adjustments that were proposed throughout the audit. And then towards the back, you'll find the management communication letter, which includes additional observations that are either control deficiencies or improvement points that were not elevated to significant deficiency or material weakness to be included in the other report. And we did meet with the district staff, with Superintendent Ms. Crespo and her team on February 20. We went over those. We typically go over every adjustment as we find it throughout the audit, but we do a summary just to make sure that we got all the information, that they understand what the observations were and what they can do going forward to improve that. And that concludes our report. I can address any questions that you may have, or if you have questions down the road as you look through the financials, our contact information is on the slide. Feel free to reach out.
Thank you very much. Members of the board, before I turn it over to Dr. Sorensen, do you have any questions for presenters? Dr. Sorensen, anything you'd like to add?
First of all, I just want to thank you very much for your really detailed and comprehensive work. It is no secret, right, that finances are important to the intervention here. And so I say this publicly all the time. I think I am one of the only superintendents on the planet who welcomes always an audit because it is an opportunity for us to grow, get better. And again, I say this all the time, not just be great, but be perfect. And so we strive for perfection, and with perfection, you get excellence. And so thank you for your feedback. Thank you for your detailed work and the time that you spent with the team to just make us better, stronger, faster. And so in addition to that, I'd really like to thank Ms. Crespo, obviously my own budget buddy, Rolando, for his work, and the team in business, finance, and administrative services for righting the ship in this area. And we always have work to do to continue to improve, to be the best. And I think we've made significant headway in the year and a half under Ms. Crespo's leadership and the work of her team. So thank you very much for this very comprehensive report. I am certain that my board president is pleased that there's additional funding going into fund balance.
Thank you very much. Thank you for the presentation, and have a safe trip back.
Thank you, and thank you. I agree with Dr. Sorensen. It is a huge volume of information that is handled. Of course, finance is the filter, but it's district-wide. Departments all across the district participate, so I really appreciate everyone's cooperation. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Ms. Crespo, for everything. Again, thank you for such a detailed report. We appreciate it.
I have response.
Okay.
It's a brief clarity and response on what you just hear for the community and for my colleagues and representing the department. As Dr. Sorensen said, we are striving for perfection, which is not something that we can achieve in a year and a half, but we are working very hard to try to do it as fast as we can. What you hear today was presented by our colleagues, and I really appreciate the ladies. They are amazing. We hear one significant deficiency, certain compliance findings, and process improvement required for us to keep moving forward. The result of this, however, the most important part is that there is an unmodified opinion. There is no material weaknesses, no material compliance. Financial statements are accurate, the district is financially stable, and the systems are strengthening. I don't want to miss the opportunity to say that these findings reflect increased accountability, monitoring, refining, timing of budget amendments had to be tightened. Strengthening of compliance oversight is something we have been working very hard and still have some work to do. But the audit also confirmed positive year-end fund balance, total expenditure under overall budget, unmodified audit opinion, no material weaknesses identified, and a mention of a low-risk federal designation. Therefore, the district is financially stable and strengthening their internal controls and working to be better. What are we doing? And I think that's the most important part, and that's why I wanted to take a couple of minutes going over this again. We have immediate actions underway that are already established, because remember, this audit is as of June 2025. We have quarterly function level budget monitoring across all funds. We have internal meetings with me, my team, for increasing more intense monitoring, including monthly reports to the superintendent. We have starting conservative budget amendment practices. That's why you are seeing budget amendments every month, to be sure that we are covering any potential risks. We are doing mandated program expenditure tracking with my colleagues and the staff, to ensure that any funding source, any plan is being executed as planned on a timely manner. And we are looking at procurement thresholds oversized to ensure that our procurement processes are supporting the district financials, and we are really working in an accurate way towards being better. What structural improvements we had done so far? We have increased accountability for all the staff members, starting on my office. We are working very hard on completing and consolidating our zero-based budget framework alignment. We have early compliance review and monitoring. Again, as I said before, we are doing these quarterly reviews, and we are also on top of our activities. We have a strengthened grants reimbursement oversight to ensure that we ask for the funds on time and that we are spending the funds on time. And we are formalizing year-end accrual review processes in order to prevent timing discrepancies. That's where most of the issues came on this finding. So just the honor that the financial discipline is a continuous process. We are growing as a district to be more accountable. This means that through the process, we will build durable systems. And that is what we want, and that's the commitment from my office to the district, is building things that will sustain and prevent fraud and corruption in the future, and leave the district stronger financially. So if you have any questions, further questions for me or not, just let me know.
Members of
Thank
the board,
you.
do you have any questions for Ms. Crespo? Before I turn it over to Dr. Sorensen, if she'd like to add to this, Ms. Crespo, so, we could have ended the presentation with the auditors, paying a visit and giving us an update, but I have to commend you for sharing with us that the deficiency that we had and how we're going to correct it, and I appreciate that. And so I think it's important for everyone to know your commitment to making sure that everything's done right here. And like Dr. Sorensen said earlier, like I've never met anybody who invites or encourages audits. So I appreciate that. And I feel very comfortable with the report that was given and the work that you're doing. So thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Dr. Sorensen?
No, I think, thank you, Ms. Crespo, for following up, not only on what we're doing currently, but what we plan to continue to do to strengthen our systems. And it just goes hand in hand with the work that we're doing with Alvarez and Marsal around changing a culture of accountability, and also financial stability and transparency with not only the board, but with the community. And so thank you, Ms. Crespo, for your follow-up. Again, thank you to the team, and thank you, board, for your continued support as we strengthen this arm of the district.
Yes. Thank you, Dr. Sorensen. Ladies and gentlemen, next item on the agenda is our Lone Star governance. This is item number 7.1, our time use tracker report from February 11, 2026, and this will be done by Joseph, our chief of staff. Joseph.
Yes, good evening, Mr. Board President, members of the board, Dr. Sorensen. Happy to bring you the February 11th Lone Star Governance Time Use Tracker Report. Of course, this work comes from our Lone Star governance work, which is a continuous improvement model for governing teams who choose to focus intensely on one and unapologetically on one primary objective, and that is improving student outcomes. And so as a part of that work, we track our time and how much time is spent on discussing adult outcomes, student outcomes, and other operational items. And so from our February 11th meeting, if you follow the blue column down on the left-hand side, those are our student outcome minutes. And you can see that 25 minutes of our last meeting went towards student outcomes. That came from our board goals 1 through 3 and related GPM's presentation about our MAP growth data that Dr. Little presented. And then if you go down the green column, those are our adult behavior minutes. And that is a total of 65 minutes went towards adult behaviors. And then if you go down to the sort of the straight middle of the screen of the page, you'll see that the total number of minutes for our meeting was 106. And so last meeting, we spent 89.5% or 6%, my eyes, percent of our meeting on both student outcomes and adult behavior minutes, and then 23.5% of our time on explicitly on student outcomes minutes. So with that, I'm happy to take any questions.
Thank you very much, Joseph. Members of the board, any questions for Joseph?
No.
Seeing that we have none, thank you very much, Joseph. Appreciate that.
Board President, can I say one comment?
Yes, Dr.
I
Sorensen.
just want to say in advance, this meeting, as we report next time, we will have no student outcome minutes. I just want to say that out loud. I apologize. And, right, for me, it's an and there are times where we feel compelled to come before the board and the community, regardless of our desire to always talk about student outcomes, to keep the board and the community informed about operational items, financial items, what Lone Star Governance calls adult outcomes and adult behaviors. They impact children. So, the conservator and I always talk about, like, come on, these count, but they don't. But I did want to say transparently that it is still our belief as an administrative team that these are items that should be talked about in public with you and with the community. And so I apologize if we fall short occasionally, but want to continue our level of transparency with this entire board and our community as we go through this process.
Thank you very much, Dr. Sorensen. I appreciate you saying that. And Joseph, I always look forward to your report. So thank you for continuing to provide us with this information. Certainly important. Dr. Barrera will have 7.2 board constraint number 2. This will be done by, again, as I referenced, Dr. Barrera.
Good evening, President Alvarez, Dr. Superintendent, members of the board, and community. This evening, we have our board constraint progress check. And the constraint that we are going to be discussing is board constraint number 2. And this constraint reads, board members shall not communicate in a way that goes or appears to go against any of the board or board actions. So basically, this is how you communicate with each other, how you communicate with the community. And we always want to make sure that we're speaking with that one voice that you represent. Because you're only a board member when you are here and part of that board. Nobody can speak for the board on the board's behalf or even on the superintendent's behalf. Because when you're out in the community, you are out in the community as a person that serves on a board. So just to make those distinctions. So for that, we want you to reflect on these statements. Have I made any statements that could be perceived as contradicting board decisions? Have I posted or shared content that undermines board unity? Have I redirected concerns appropriately or unintentionally fueled dissent? Does what and how I communicate support our student outcome goals? So I'd like you guys to think about that for a moment individually.
You want us to collectively rate what we think between 1 and 5?
Well, I just want to give you a couple of seconds to think about those questions, right? And then we're going to do the self-evaluation. So on the next page, it is the rating 1 through 5. And I do want you to do this individually first, and then we're going to discuss each one so that we can see where we fall. The idea being that you are evaluating your own behavior so that you can continue to learn and grow to become the most effective board possible. So under unity and communication, I consistently communicate in alignment with board decisions. So rate that one individually, 1 through 5.
And then I'm assuming 1 is least agreed and 5 is most agreed?
Yes, thank you. 1 is least and 5 is the most on that Likert scale.
Okay.
So where do you think we rate with that first one?
I wrote down 5.
I wrote down 5.
Does anybody have anything different or think that as a board, it should be rated differently? So think about yourself and think about your board as well, your fellow board members. And of course, we have a new board member, Ms. Vega. We don't expect you to have a rating at this time since you just joined the board. Everybody good with a 5? Yes?
I think we're all good with a 5.
Okay.
Okay.
Respect for board actions. I avoid public or private criticism of board decisions. Now, again, this is just something, we don't need true confessions. Nobody has to say anything, but this is important because I take you back to our training when we talk about integrity. And the definition of integrity that we use in LSG is doing what others expect of me, whether or not they're there at the time that they expect it, in the manner in which they expect it. So we've had all this training. So where are we with that rating?
Members of the board? I know I already have mine, so I'm going to go ahead and say mine's a 5.
6.
1 through 5,
Oh,
Dr.
5.
Margot.
Integrity card.
So anybody anything different than a 5? Okay, we'll rate that one a 5. The next one is clarity of role. I refrain from giving personnel directives or opinions that conflict with board actions. And again, this is going out into the community, whether it's in your house, somebody at HEB, somebody asks you something. It happens often for board members to say, yes, we voted for it, or I voted for it, but I agree, blah, 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 this wasn't, and that's how the discussion starts. And some community members would love to see dissent among you guys because you've been working so well together. So you have to be very careful about that on how you speak about the district and your role. So where are we with the rating for clarity of role?
5.
Think we're good at 5?
Anyone have anything different than a 5?
I think we're 5.
Okay. Community trust. I help build trust in the board by reinforcing its collective decisions. Rating that one 1 through 5.
I say 5.
5 also? Is there anybody that
Anyone different?
has anything different?
5.
And again, when we think about trust and clarity of role, you have to remember your role versus the superintendent's role. And it's very simple. Superintendent is operations. Everything under operations belongs to the superintendent. You guys approve policy, approve the budget, you hire the superintendent, you evaluate the superintendent. But aside from those things, the superintendent has that authority to make those decisions. And you guys have done an excellent job with this thus far, so I'm thrilled about that. Any questions on your constraint discussion?
Members of the board?
No.
No. Thank you, Dr. Bernard. You may proceed.
Okay, next item is your quarterly self-evaluation. So let's look at the framework. The first one is Vision and Goals 1. The board has adopted student outcome goals. Last time we were a 12. So Ms. Vega, the way this works is you start and the very first column does not meet focus. And if you can check all of those items, you move to the next column. And if you can check all those items, you move to the next. If one item is not checked, that's where you have to stay for that rating. And we do this every 4 months. Anyone want to throw anything out? Are you still at 12? Did we go back to a 4 or are we at 15?
I think we're still at 12.
Is it the broad ownership that kept us from being 15?
Let's see, student.
That's what I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, yes. And again, I think with where you are as a board of managers, with the work that you have before you, right now, the work is the school system going out into the community, right? The superintendent is doing that. Our operations chief talked about that as well, going out into the community, hearing about what they have to say. I think that this is work that is something that we can consider. I don't know if the end of this year is good or we can aim for and plan for the fall. Dr. Sorensen, do you have any thoughts?
Board Member Gomez, that like if such a thing existed as a 13. I think we're getting to a 15, right?
Absolutely.
Because there is broader ownership, knowledge,
Yeah.
and understanding of like our wildly important goal. Like you all heard them on campuses. Our teachers are talking about it more. Our parents are talking about MAP scores more. Our parents are more aware of their student progress in relationship to our district goals. So I jokingly leaned over and said, like, can we be at 13? I know we can't, but I'm just saying, so I wanted to point out that I recognize as the superintendent that there's much more momentum around the goals and knowledge of, and the broad ownership. I don't know that we're there yet, but we've made progress, and I want to note that out loud.
I would agree with that. I see it and hear it with principals when they're talking about their campuses. Everyone is very clear. Student outcomes don't change until adult behaviors change. And so whenever there's an issue or something that gets in the way of a goal or of a practice, we take it back to, okay, is this going to improve student outcomes, or are we doing this for an adult, right?
May I ask where we started at the very beginning?
You may go ahead and proceed.
Yeah, just where we started, and I know now we're on.
Zeros.
I think we started with adoptive vision and yeah.
There was nothing established.
There were no goals in place.
It's probably at the end of this. But if you look at Marty made the copies and they were separate.
Yeah, if I can recall, I was just explaining that I think we actually started at 0.
Oh, we actually did start at 0.
Yeah, exactly.
But I
Because we
haven't-
didn't have a vision, we didn't have board goals, there weren't GPMs, and so we had to establish all of that work together.
So for vision and goals, one quarter ago, we were at 12. 2 quarters ago, we were still at 12. 3 quarters ago, 12, and 4 quarters ago, 12. So we've been consistently at 12. I think we had a couple of other quarters before that, but the first quarter was a 0, definitely.
Thank you.
Great
So,
question.
Are we good with the 12 for that one?
Yes.
Yes, I think we're all in agreement on that.
Let's go on to Vision Goals 2. The board has adopted goal progress measures, GPMs aligned to each student outcome goal.
What were we at last time, Diana?
12. So we've been at 12 for the last 3.
I think
I think
we
we're
need
kind
more
of in the
adult
same
behavior
boat.
change.
What's that?
I was gonna say, I think we're kind of in the same boat as we were with goal
Go on.
one.
Yes, I agree. So we're going to say 12?
Yes.
Okay. Vision and Goals 3, the board has adopted constraints. Last time we were at 12.
A 9?
A 9?
9, I'm sorry, 9. 9, 9, 9, and 4 quarters ago, we were at 0.
We're still a 9.
Yeah, I agree.
So we've been pretty steady. Are we still good with a 9?
Yes.
Okay.
I don't know,
Vision
so
goals,
Before we go, I don't know if anybody's monitoring that, just in case somebody's watching from the outside. If somebody could keep up with the slide, because we've got a different slide here.
what's that?
Oh, the slide, yeah.
The slide, just so that we can keep
On the
up if anybody's watching from,
The next slide.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
if we can keep up with the slide, your presentation's not there.
We're on 4.
Just so in
it's
case
not?
anyone's watching from outside, they see what we see.
Yeah, we're on goal 4.
Went too
Go
far.
for it.
Go back.
Who's controlling that?
Say that again, Mr. Alvarez, I'm sorry.
That your presentation is not in sync with the slide that you're on. And so for
Oh,
those that are
I'm so
watching,
sorry.
they don't get confused.
Okay, thank you.
We're on slide.
Yeah,
Vision
we're
and
all-
Goals 4.
Vision and goals. Okay, we're at Vision and Goals 4.
Yes.
The board has adopted superintendent constraint and progress measures, and we said that was still a 4.
This is a 4, yes.
Last quarter, we were a 4. 2 quarters ago, we were a 4. Before that, we were at 0. It took us a while to get out of this one.
We're at a 4.
Says this one doesn't have, you can't see the numbers on this.
Oh, yeah. 4.
We're still good with a 4?
Yes, we're 4.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. The next one is Progress and Accountability 1. The board invests at least half of its time to improving student outcomes. Last time we were a 15. This time, I think we are going to have to go back to a 12. Yes. So you guys remember why are we going back to a 12? Can anybody explain that?
I think Dr. Sorensen alluded to a little bit earlier, we're addressing a lot of the operational and adult impacts, so as opposed to students, so.
Yes. We've had a lot of information that we've had to share, or the district has had to share, and we didn't have a data presentation. All of this work is still very, very important, and we just have to take the hit this time, and then we'll see if we can plan next time to have more data sprinkled throughout every month.
Diana, but we landed at 23%, and I don't know if before we've had something lower than that. So would we be at a 12 or a 4?
We're at 16.6%.
So would that be a 4?
So then puts that 4
Well, that
versus.
pushes back
So
to 4.
it would be a 12. It's 25%. Oh, it would be a 4. Yes, you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it would be a 4. And I know you guys have heard me say progress is not linear. Sometimes you have to go backwards, and that's okay. Next is Progress and Accountability 2. The board evaluates but does not interfere with progress toward improving student outcomes. The last time we were we were a 4, and before that, we were zeros. Are we still a 4, or can we go to masters?
I think we're at a 5 now.
This instrument calls for, let me read the last one, consider superintendent performance as indistinguishable from system performance by evaluating the superintendent on only results in progress towards student outcome goals. This one is very hard to get, I will tell you, because most boards do want to evaluate their superintendent on other things like operations, like the community involvement and support and transparency. All those are very important, but this instrument is asking us to just evaluate the superintendent on student outcomes only. And so that's why we cannot be a 5. Does anybody have any questions about that, or?
No, thank you for clarifying that for us.
Okay, so that is a 4. Let's go to systems and processes. The board operates in a way that allows the superintendent to accomplish the vision. We've been a 4 for the last 4 quarters.
Because we don't have 4 meetings per month.
Is there anything that would be keeping us from,
No, it says did not exceed an average of 4 meetings a month.
what's that?
Had more meetings.
I'll just clarifying that it didn't, 12-1 does not mean that we average 4 meetings a month.
Well, the one that I'm looking at is that the board has reviewed its existing local policies. We've done a lot of that. There's been a lot of policy updates that have come in, and Dr. Sorensen and her team have suggested or asked for you guys to approve other policies that were needed in the district. But I know that you're on the list for a TASB policy update. Is that, yes?
done,
So it still hasn't happened? But again, this is not anything that, it's on the schedule to happen.
No, it has happened. 126,
Which one?
TASB update 126.
No, that it's, that the board works with TASB to look at all the policies and see if there's any changes that are needed. Jamie, I thought you said that y'all were having a session with TASB, no?
Did we not do that recently?
Okay.
I think we've updated.
I mean, TASB is doing a review of our policies, yes.
They are actively doing one right now?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes. Yes.
okay. Do we, again, this is one of those sticking points. Dr. Sorensen, what do you think? And Mr. Alvarez, you guys make a recommendation, then we can talk about it. It's happening right now. Do we have the results of it, and are we implementing those
No, not yet.
results?
It's not finalized.
Okay, so then I think we need to stay at a 4.
I agree. We are at a 4 right now, right?
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
I'm okay with that.
The next one is advocacy and engagement.
What were we at before, Diana?
Advocacy and engagement?
But what were we at?
Oh, where were we at? We've been a 1 for the last 3 quarters, and before that, we were at a 0. So let's see if we have,
I think we're still at a 0.
We're at a 1, right?
I think we've done, I don't know, I think that we can move to a 3. What are your thoughts, board?
I don't know. 3 sounds.
Still one.
I think we're
Still
still on.
one. Because
Still a
the
1.
distinguishing part is the
Yeah.
board
Exactly.
hosted a community. Where
Yeah, we're still
again,
one.
where I
Yeah, 'cause
think
we're
the
not
board
owning
has
that.
a two-way
Oh,
communication.
that's what it is. The board has hosted. Yes,
Right.
you're right. No, you're right. So
But they
we're
have
we're
a
still
two-way
a one.
communication system.
You've been involved in these community meetings where the superintendent and her team have done that, but we need to schedule a time for you guys to do that and you to be the leaders of this session, and the superintendent and her team will be there to support you in case there's questions the community has that you may not be able to answer. So thank you, Dr. Sorensen. That does put us back at preparing to focus a 1.
I'm going to. I will get it done.
Synergy and teamwork. The last time we had, we scored a 3. Actually, the last 4 quarters have been 3s. And there's something that's holding us back from being a 9.
I think that all the members have done the training.
We're almost there. We
Yeah.
are almost there.
So 3.
I think for sure by the next time we do this, we'll be able to go to a 9.
So
That
puts us
means
at 3.
everybody has to have every single, meet all of those statutorily required trainings. So we're back at a 3, guys?
Yes.
Yes, the 3.
Okay, I wasn't adding, but I'm assuming it's like 60 something. Did anybody add? Joseph, did you add?
44.
Okay, I'll add it all and I'll make sure that you have it when we go into closed session before you sign it.
Thank you.
Any questions on any of this information?
Members of the board, any questions for Dr. Barrera? Thank you, Dr. Barrera.
I do want to say, I've just been so proud of the work you guys have done individually and collectively. You really have taken on this Texas framework, right, that we use as our integrity instrument. And I can hear it in your language with each other. I can hear it in your discussions with the superintendent and the team. So I just want to commend you guys for doing that. And you've grown tremendously in the 2 years since we started in February of 2024. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Barrera. Members of the board, no questions? Great. All right, let's proceed. Next item on the agenda, let's see, we had is number 8. Let me see, no, that's 8, that one's done.
That's still me.
Yes.
That's still you? Okay, so
That's
it's
still
our
me.
conservators report. Dr.
Yes.
Barrera, it's all yours.
I think the report that we have is for December. We continue to make a lot of progress. However, in December, it was a short month. Is that the one that you guys have before you, December?
This one is 11/18 placement or 1/14,
Yeah, 1/14/2026.
2026.
Yes, but so I turn it in January, but it's from the month prior. So this is the December report.
Okay.
The district continues to make marked improvements to complete all of these activities, all these goals and goal progress measures. You've heard from the business office and all the things that they've done, and it's a work in progress. As Dr. Little and Ms. Crespo will definitely tell you, they look under a rock and they thought they were done with that and they find more things. So they've done an exceptional job on completing a lot of these activities, and we're definitely moving towards meeting exit criteria. I have no doubt that we're going to get there. The board, in the very first exit criteria is number 1, board of managers or board members will score meets focus on the LSG and integrity instrument in the areas of vision and goals, progress and accountability, systems and processes consistent with high-performing governance teams. You guys have completed 1 of the 3 GPMs that you have set, but you are definitely well on your way to making sure that you meet this exit criteria. The second goal is for business and finance. LJISD will conduct a comprehensive financial audit of district financial controls, address all findings, and meet all education department, general administrative regulations, and financial accountability system resource guide, and Texas Education Code regulations. So all the things that you see within this section, these are all things that they continue to work on to build those sustainable systems so that whenever the conservator exits the district, when this work is done, it'll be sustainable. And so whoever comes in, they'll be able to take it over. Exit criteria goal 3, by May 2029, La Jolla ISD will ensure all campuses in the district are rated an overall A to C in the state accountability system. There's a lot of progress that you can see in these, with these GPMs that are listed. We've seen a lot of progress in the student achievement data, student outcome data. We've seen a lot of improvements with even the adult data, right? Data on walkthroughs that are being conducted with the spot checks with the superintendent and her team. Everything that we've seen up to now is pointing in the absolute right direction, really setting us up to definitely meet our WIG for this year. And I have no doubts that you'll meet all of these goals by the time we exit the district. Does anybody have any questions?
Any of the members have any questions for Dr. Barrera?
No.
Nope.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Barrera. All right, so we have no more questions. Let's get to the next agenda item, which is our consent agenda item. Do I have a motion?
I move to approve the consent agenda.
Do I have a second?
I second the motion.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Next item on the agenda is our closed session. Right now it is 7:55 p.m. We will go into closed session under section Texas Government Code 551.001, 551.071, 551.072, 551.074, 551.076, 551.129, and 551.0821 concerning any and all purposes permitted by the act, including but not limited to the sections and purposes listed below that we have here. We are now in closed session. Ladies and gentlemen, we're back from closed session. It is 9:14 PM. Agenda item 12.1, approval of additional members to the La Jolla ISD Health Advisory Council, SHAC 2025-2526. Do I have a motion?
I move to approve item 12.1.
Do I have a second?
I second the motion.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Item 12.2, approval of CTE technology purchases leading to industry-based certifications through computer technology district-wide quotation number 2025-828. Do I have a motion?
I move to approve item 12.2.
Do I have a second?
I second the motion.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. 12.3, approval of the 2026-2027 La Jolla ISD School Board calendar. Do I have a motion? Correction, it should be La Jolla ISD School Calendar. Do I have a motion?
I move to approve 12.3.
Do I have a second?
I second the motion.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Item 12.4, approval of in-kind donation of jackets by Child Fund International. Do I have a motion?
I move to approve item 12.4.
Do I have a second?
I second the motion.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. 12.5, approval of the annual comprehensive financial report for the fiscal year ended June 30th, 2025. Do I have a motion?
I move to approve.
Do I have a second?
I second the motion.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. 12.6, approval of delinquent tax collection report for the period of July 1st, 2025 through December 31st of 2025, presented by the Law Office of Lineberger, Gogan, Blyer, and Sampson, LLP. Do I have a motion?
Move to approve.
Do I have a second?
I second the motion.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. 12.7, approval of the Lone Star Governance Board self-assessment using the LSG integrity instrument. Do I have a motion?
I move to approve.
Do I have a second?
I second.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. 12.8, approval of proposed termination probationary contracts. Do I have a motion?
I move to approve item 12.8.
Do I have a second?
I second the motion.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Next item on the agenda is our calendar. So we have March 2026 is Texas History Month, Music in Our Schools Month, Women History Month, National Nutrition Month, and National Procurement Month. March 1st, 2026, National Athletic Trainers Day. March 1st through the 7th, 2026, National School Work Week. March 1st through the 7th, 2026, Educational Diagnostician Week. March 2nd, 2026, Texas Independence Day. March 2nd through the 6th, Read Across America Week. March 2nd through the 6th, Texas Public Schools Week, Open House. March 2nd through the 6th, National School Board Breakfast Week. March 6th, 2026, my birthday. No, I'm just kidding. March 6th, 2026, Maintenance Work Appreciation Day. March 9th, 2026, sixth grade field day. March 10th, 2026, Texas Girls in STEM Day. March 11th, 2026, Elementary Field Day, Coyotes and Husky Clusters. March 11th, 2026, special called meeting, student recognition at Alejandro Alex Science Performing Arts Calendar. Do we have any questions or remarks before we adjourn?
I do just want to tell everybody that was part of the Coach Rod field, just thank you very much. It was a great event, very heartfelt for somebody so deserving, and just thank you guys so much for that event.
Anyone else who attended?
It was a spectacular event. I was so proud and honored that we were all present and to remember someone whose legacy will carry on.
Yes, I agree with you. I know that after the event was over, some folks that weren't able to make the event that are from the Cameron County area sent me a text saying, thank you for honoring my cousin. So I thought that was pretty cool. He was well known everywhere. So we're very grateful. And thank you again to SB, your team, everyone that put it together, and of course, Dr. Sorensen and her staff. Before we adjourn, I do have a letter that I do need to read to you all from TEA. Dear Dr. Sorensen and Mr. Alvarez, the purpose of this letter is to notify you that on February 11, 2026, the Texas Education Agency conducted a quarterly review of all the conservators and management teams appointed to oversee district operations throughout the state of Texas. On February 18, 2026, I reviewed and approved the agency's final recommendation. This review was conducted in accordance with the with the requirements of the Texas Education Code 39A-003B. As you know, Dr. Barrera has served the district with distinction as a conservator since 2024. Since she will be transitioning out of the conservator role, I am formally naming Dr. Sylvia Ibarra to serve as her replacement. Dr. Ibarra will assume all roles and responsibilities of the conservatorship and shall have all authority allowed under the state statute and rule. The Texas Education Agency would like to thank Dr. Barrera for her leadership and support of La Joya ISD. Any questions can be directed towards Garrett Black at tea.texas.gov. Ms. Barrera, we just wanted to thank you. I know we expressed our thanks to you in the back, but publicly, I just wanted to let you know that we're very grateful to you for what you've been able to do the last 2 years with this board. It certainly has been an educational experience. I think I mentioned earlier when we started working together, we were using training wheels, but those training wheels are gone, and so it wouldn't have been possible without your leadership and your support. So I just wanted to share that with you. And so we're going to miss you, but we wish you the best, and you're just a phone call away. Any of our other board members like to say anything before?
Just want to say thank you so much for your guidance and wish you well on your next project.
Thank you. We learned a lot. Appreciate it.
I just want to say thank you.
I'm gonna miss you.
Thank you and wish you the best.
We're so grateful, Yana, for everything you've done for us and for your support and for your guidance for 2 years. So thank you.
Yes, thank you very much. Dr. Sorensen?
And I, of course, want to just thank you for your partnership. As a conservator, I was always very clear on your role, right? It's to make sure that the intervention is successful. And so I think as you look back on the 2 years, we're making progress, right? And so your mark in terms of helping us ensure that the intervention is successful and will be a part of this legacy. And so thank you so much for the partnership and your guidance, your friendship, and your consistent support of me in the superintendent's seat and the board. We would not be where we are without your help.
We truly mean that. Anyone else? Seeing there's nothing else.
Enjoy retirement.
Well, and we congratulate you on your new home in San Antonio, and also any future plans, certainly keep us posted. Seeing that we have nothing else to add.
Board President,
Yes,
can I
ma'am.
add
Oh, of course.
two very quick things. I always feel like it's super important to,
Yes.
talk about a few really great things. So first of all, our La Joya High School boys basketball won district champs last night. So go get them, boys. I think our next game is Friday. And we'll just keep advancing. So way to go. And then also this past weekend, I'm so excited and so proud of our mariachi students across the district. And both Palmview and La Joya came home with a Division I title, and our Juarez Lincoln Huskies came home with a Division II. So proud of them. The level of discipline and commitment from our students who do mariachi is just beyond, and the instructors that support them is just outstanding. I mean, we are the best. We are the best. And so just wanted to publicly congratulate them on demonstrating exactly who they are, which is, I say it all the time, excellence. So again, want to congratulate them as well as acknowledge the staff that was here this evening. Our CTE teachers are always showing up and really demonstrating to our young people ways in which that, they can live their best lives and really turn their passions into careers and careers into financial stability for them and their families for years to come. And so I'm just really grateful to them, and obviously all of our advanced placement work that we're doing across the district. Thank you, Anna Marie, for leading a lot of that work side by side with our shoulder partners, the counselors and the principals. Because I think what we demonstrated tonight is that college and career is what we're about here. And so, and they don't have to be mutually exclusive. You can do both. But that we're doing a really great job across the district to support our students so that they have opportunities and choices when they walk across the stage. And so just wanted everyone to, hear all the awesomeness that exists here.
Thank you, Dr. Sorensen, and I'd be remiss if I didn't acknowledge that we're very grateful to you, your leadership team, the CTE instructors, and of course, our very own Dr. Carlos Marco for implementing the apprenticeship program, which everyone knows I'm very dear to. So I appreciate all the work that you've done, and also the progress that has been made. I think that's going to set us apart. If I'm not mistaken, Dr. Marco, are we the only school that has something similar to that?
Yes, La Jolla is the first school in Hidalgo and Starr County to step up and join the Registered Department of Labor Apprenticeship Program while still in high school. And
You
they'll
want
be
to tell
getting
us a
paid.
little bit about it?
Yeah, a group of 12 students, and congratulations to your CT. They made it happen. For over 10 years, South Texas College has had registered apprenticeship programs in 17 different occupations, but never have we had high school students join the registered apprenticeship programs and work part-time. In this case, they're going to be working as construction technicians, but specifically with Zitro Electric, who agreed to hire the 12 students on a part-time basis while they're still in high school so they can get relevant work experience while South Texas College provides the classroom instruction. So that, again, is the first of its kind. La Jolla ISD, the first to step it up and actually do it. So I'm very proud of La Jolla in that regard. And hopefully we'll continue to do more of that. But congratulations to your team, Dr. Sorensen.
Thank you for your continued support. I'm so grateful. And our kids are just the, benefactors of that type of programming. So thank you, and thank you to South Texas College.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Margot, and we'll certainly convey that message to Desi Holmes. I'm sure she had a little part to do with it, so I'll make sure she knows that. Well, seeing that we have nothing else that we need to add and there's nothing else on the agenda, do I have a motion to adjourn?
I move to adjourn this meeting at 9:26 p.m.
Do I have a second?
I second the motion.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. We are adjourned. Carlos,